Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the Bunkered Podcast, brought to you by Callaway Golf. I am Michael McEwen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Another week, another Scottie Scheffler victory. When are we going to stop saying that? So we have to discuss once again Scottie Scheffler on this week's episode. As well as that, a little bit of chat about Happy Gilmore coming up. And part 2, we're going to be talking about par-3s. And specifically, should they be capped at a certain yardage? The answers from the men sitting next to me may surprise you. So yeah, another busy episode coming up. Thank you very much, as I said, for tuning in, for giving us your time. Wherever in the world you are, whatever you're doing right now, I'm always interested to know where and how people listen to the Bunkered Podcast. So let us know. I have this, I was going to say fantasy, but that's the wrong word. I have this, but let's call it a concern that some of you are tuning in whilst showering. If that's the case, get in touch, let us know via our DMs, which are open on X. And of course, our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Bunkered Podcast. I mentioned them, let's bring them straight in. The two men who require no introduction other than to say they are fast becoming Bunkered's very own Chuckle brothers. That is the performance editor, Lewis Fraser, and gear editor, Paul Chuckle, Mr. James Tate. Gentlemen, hello, how are you? You well?
Doing well, thanks, Michael. How are you?
To me, to you. Yes.
Good
to you, to me.
I'm good, I'm good. So, what's been happening? Busy time for you too, hasn't it?
Busy time.
You went live with, well, I genuinely, and joking aside, I think this video is the best thing we've ever done. Dumbarton Links course vlog. You guys went live with that last night. Beautifully filmed and produced by producer Dex, sitting there quietly in the corner, facing it right now like the guy at the end of the Blair Witch Project. If you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project, I've just ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that video went live. You guys looked like you had a good time at Dumbarton.
I had an amazing time.
It was a special day, wasn't it?
I think it came across quite well. We can't really take any of the plaudits because it's all producer Dex's good work. We just went and played golf. It was the easiest day.
Oh, you didn't just do that, Lewis. There's something I need to speak to you about.
Go on.
And this is a serious matter.
Right.
Is that the best Tennent's beer chug that you can do?
No, it's not. It was
you
cold.
managed not even half of a pint.
Nah, I was halfway through it.
No, you weren't.
I wanted to enjoy it. They were peer pressuring me into it, so I thought I'm just going to have half. That'll be fine. It's for the camera.
James, what went wrong?
What went right? To be honest, it was just, to be fair, it looked really cold.
Well, it was cold.
In his defense.
It's been a while since.
So what, you can only chug a warm pint?
I can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, if it's cold, like I probably do what he did, so I saved the embarrassment and Lewis had to take the fall, to be
I'm
honest.
really disappointed in you, Lewis.
Yeah.
That's just an absolute
I know.
shocker.
I kind of wish it hadn't made it in, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wish I'd just sipped it round the back nine. That would.
It looks like you did.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you want
enjoyed it a lot.
If you want to see Lewis completely embarrass himself and play some
that
golf,
bad.
then go and check out our Dumbarton Links course vlog. It's on our YouTube channel right now, youtube.com/bunkered.
Yeah.
James, you've got another long drive event coming up this weekend.
I do, yeah.
Where?
It's down in Thornbury, at Thornbury Golf Club. It's all the way down in Portsmouth.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
The opposite end of the country.
Yeah, and it's... Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, pretty good. When I broke my goal this year, I've hit 230 mile per hour ball speed.
You got 231, did you know?
231.1.
Wow.
So I was absolutely, but literally. So pretty happy with that. So it just kind of puts me in a different kind of, I guess, kind of category of players that can achieve that kind of number now.
So what does
quite
that
happy with
extra, like 231 equates to a certain amount of yardage? What does that mean relative, like that 1 mile an hour extra? How many yards are we talking?
I think the calculation, I might correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's watching or is a very big numbers guy.
We won't be doing that.
I think it's for every mile an hour, I think it's 2.3 yards.
Oh, right, okay.
I think. I might be wrong. But
Feels like something you should know.
I feel like it should be something I know as well. All I know is if ball goes really fast, ball go really far. that's kind of the way I break it down. Because let's be honest, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Not a maths teacher, James.
Definitely not. My math skills are.
It's over there.
Yeah, exactly. How far is it? All right, cool. But no, the faster the ball speed in theory, once you kind of like play around with trying to get the spin numbers and efficiency to a certain point, then you're going to be able to maximize the most out of that golf.
Okay,
ball.
you're talking about efficiency and
Yeah.
maximizing.
I know,
I'm lost now.
I prefer
know,
to
sorry about that.
man hit golf ball really hard,
Yeah.
ball go far.
Yeah, exactly.
But confident about this weekend.
Yeah, pretty confident.
Good.
Yeah, I like my chances.
Okay, good. Bring back
Tiger.
another trophy for us.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So from world-long drive and dominating that to Scottie Scheffler dominating the PGA Tour, that is where we're starting this week with the big question right after this.
The Bunkered Podcast, brought to you by the new Elite Driver from Callaway.
Okay, thank you, Callaway, very much indeed. Yes, gentlemen, the big question, after yet another win on the PGA Tour, he's now up to, 16 PGA Tour wins, all of which in the last 40 months. Remember when we were saying at the Ryder Cup in 2021, Scottie Scheffler's still not won a title. Is he ever going to do it? And then sneaked it in a playoff in 2022 at the Phoenix Open against Patrick Cantlay. We thought, oh, that's nice. He's got over the line. Good on him.
He's doing well.
And now he just wins pretty much every time he looks at a golf course. The most recent one, of course, the Memorial Tournament at the weekend. A 4-shot win over Ben Griffin. Here's the thing, right? His last 4 victories going back to the Tour Championship in September, won by 4 shots, 8 shots, 5 shots, 4 shots.
Mental.
So it's not even like he's squeaking it. I mean,
No.
He's absolutely romping home. So the big question this week, based on that and the fact that we know he's already got 3, how many majors will Scottie Scheffler win by the time his career is over? Lewis, coming to you first.
I am going to go for the number 8 on this
that
one.
feels quite conservative.
I think that's a 8's a lot of majors. Like,
He's kind of halfway there.
yeah, nearly halfway there. But
At the
winning-
age of 28?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk you through some of my
Okay,
my
let's
logic
see
here.
your
Yeah.
working.
So look, he's won 3 already, as you say, and he's going to play the Masters for the rest of his
Yeah.
career. Let's say he's going to play another 25, 30 of those,
Mm-hmm.
probably. Certainly 20 where he's going to be competitive.
Okay.
I think he'll probably tick off another 2, maybe 3 of those.
Okay.
Then we're looking probably another PGA and a US Open as well at some point.
You're missing one.
Yeah,
So you don't think he's going to win the Open?
I
And you
think-
don't think he's going to get the career Grand Slam?
winning the Open's really hard. I'm not saying that he won't win it, but that's the one we'll talk about if he has any weaknesses at any point. I'm not saying that's a weakness, but he's maybe not quite proven that at this moment. I'm not saying that he won't because he's unbelievably good, but yeah, I think 8 majors overall. Not quite sure how he'll quite get there, but in that ballpark is where I'm going.
Okay. James, same question to you.
I think he's going to be double digits, but I kind of have the same kind of feeling as Lewis, where I think the Open is going to be his kind of kryptonite,
Okay.
like Augusta was for Rory.
But Rory got across the line eventually.
I know he did, but I think that's going to be the tough one for him to get the Grand Slam.
Why do you say that? Is it just because he's an American and it's played outside America?
I think links golf is just a completely different ball game, and I think you've seen him before. It's like he's not played great when he's been on the links courses, but anything that's in the States, he's always been like, especially now, like you said, he looks at a golf course on that side of the map, and it's like, well, he's either finishing second or he's going to win it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a joke. But yeah, I think double digits. I'm going to say around about 12. I think he's going to win multiple PGA championships and definitely more green jackets,
Okay.
and throw in a couple US Opens in there as well. But I think the Open is going to be the tough one for him to get across the line, if I'm really honest.
12 is a lot. Like, I'm not saying that's not possible,
No.
but you look at the greats of the game and how many they've won. You're putting Scottie right up there.
Well,
like,
only
almost,
2 have won more than 12, haven't
yeah,
they? So-
exactly. Yeah, like you're putting nearly in the same realms as Tiger in terms of winning majors. You really think he's going to do that?
I mean, he's so dominant. Like the question I'd throw back to you is like, why couldn't he?
Yeah, it's a fair
That's-
challenge.
That is a fair point.
Like he's at the top of his game. I mean, he started off the year a little bit maybe
Injured,
a little bit injured,
unable to grip the club.
but didn't come out obviously as he did the previous season.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, oh, he looked a little bit frustrated at times
Yeah,
as
he
well,
did,
which is a wee
he
bit
did.
Scottie Scheffler like. But all of a sudden he's winning by 4 shots like every tournament. You're kind of like, well, who's gonna be able to chase him down if he's playing at his best?
Yeah.
What's your kind of take on it, Michael?
I'm slap bang in the middle of the two of you. I'm going 10 because I do think he'll get to double digits. 3 with 2 more majors to go this year. I wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, he's got to be the favourite for Oakman. I know he's the bookie's favourite. 3-1 you can currently get him at. 3-1.
Short.
I mean, that's so short. There's no value in that whatsoever. But yeah, I feel like he's got to be the clear favourite for Oakman and is. The Open, listen, I'm not sure I'm agreeing with you guys, to be honest.
No.
It feels, and I'm going to use a word that please don't take this the wrong way. It feels a wee bit lazy to suggest that a dominant American can't win the Open. Now, I do get it. A links golf course is a big leveler. It flattens out the field, brings guys from deep into the rankings right into the equation.
Yeah.
But Scottie's played in 4 Opens and he's been top 10 twice.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 times he's been tied 21st, tied 23rd. Now, hasn't cracked the top 5, but tied 7th last year at Troon in what was some pretty gnarly weather. 2021, he made his debut at St George's, tied 8th there. I'm not seeing anything in his Open record, which it's a small frame of reference. I mean, there's not a whole lot to go on. But based on what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything that tells me this guy can't win an Open or he's unlikely to. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Portrush this year and wins it out the park.
Yeah.
Because he is a dominant player. And the trade-off for links golf being the great leveler is the fact that Scottie is now developing an aura. And I think that aura is going to start intimidating some players.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in the same way as Tiger Woods' aura did or Jack Nicklaus' aura did. But I think when people see Scottie Scheffler now climbing the leaderboard, as happened at the Memorial at the weekend, they go, uh-oh, Scottie's coming. So I think he's got a great chance of winning the Open, and all of the greats of the game have done so.
Yeah.
Jack's done it. I'm talking about American greats here. Jack, Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson's won 5 of them. Tiger Woods has won multiple. I think that gone are the days that we could say Americans probably just aren't going to compete when it comes to a links course. The best players in the world compete on any golf course. So, yeah, I think Scottie's going to end up genuinely around about 10. He's 28 now. To get there, it's 1 a year for the next, let's say 1 every other year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 14 years to get to 10, which takes him up to the age of 42. Injuries permitting, health permitting, why not?
Yeah, I don't see.
100%.
I completely agree, and I'm not saying I don't think Scottie will ever win the Open, but it's difficult to predict longevity in golf.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Look, he's playing incredibly well right now, and you're right. I wouldn't be shocked if he went and won at Portrush or Oakmont or potentially both. Like maybe be shocked at that, but there's no reason why he can't do that because he's playing so well. You just don't know how long that's going to last. I don't think I'm doing him a disservice by saying he's going to win another 5 majors. Like, that's an incredible career.
It's an unbelievable haul, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
very true.
To your point, Lewis, another 5 majors means he has to have a Rory McIlroy career from now, or a Seve Ballesteros career from right now. 8 majors, only 5 players have ever won more than that. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with 8. I just think that is setting the bar too low for Scottie based on right now.
Fair enough.
I think that he has.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
He's got so much to give. And it's not even like we've seen pockets of dominance for him, where he's had like 3 months where he's just hot. It's not been like a Dustin Johnson style of dominance that he's displayed, where I'm really hot for a little period of time, cold again, really dominant again. This guy's been dominant now for really the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, 16 wins in the PGA Tour in 40 months. That is absolutely
absurd.
Insane.
That is absurd.
Insane.
Yep.
So
we'll see. We'll come back to this
8, 10, 12.
20, 25 years or so and see where we're at.
Let us know your thoughts. Get in touch with us. Send us some DMs. Tell us where you're at. His current form's just so good, isn't it? I mean, the Memorial win, just continuing that impressive streak that he's on. Hasn't missed a cut in the PGA Tour since the FedEx St Jude Championship in 2022.
Insane.
Now, that's absurd.
That's ridiculous, is it not?
That's not human.
Yeah. Well, we talk about longevity, and I'm kind of, saying
You're torpedoing your own
yeah,
argument right
torpedo-
now.
oh, completely. Yeah, you are.
How's
Yeah,
that longevity
completely
there?
Torpedoing it. Yeah,
Pretty good.
obviously there's a difference between, well, he is winning events and he's not having complete off weeks where he's shooting a big number on Thursday and missing the cut. He just doesn't seem to do that at all. His bad rounds are fine, and then his good rounds win tournaments.
Yeah.
It's
Very consistent.
incredible at the moment how he's playing.
Yeah, our good pal Jamie Kennedy, who works at Golf Digest. Jamie, a brilliant follow on X. I want to call it Twitter, but
Call it Twitter. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Everyone knows.
Jamie Kennedy. He's at Jamie R. Kennedy. Give him a follow because his content's brilliant. He pointed out, following the Memorial, Scottie now has, get this, 2 wins since Bryson last won, 3 wins since Rory last won. Rory won the Masters.
He only just won just there.
just a couple of weeks ago, it feels like.
Jeez, oh.
3 wins since Justin Thomas last won, 4 wins since Ram, 5 wins since Brooks, 6 since Xander, 13 since Colin Morikawa, 15 since Cantley, 15 since Spieth.
Yeah.
I find quite amazing. And this last bit
Wow.
I just love. 19 wins since the USA last won the Ryder Cup.
Wild.
Now, we've spoken in the past on the podcast about comparing
That's
him
amazing.
to a certain other player, shall we
Mhm.
say. I've always resisted it, and I resisted it right at the outset when people went, he's won 2 times in a row. It's Tiger-esque. And I hate the word Tiger-esque. I do. I think it's absolutely just ridiculous. Tiger did stuff that
Yeah.
we're never going to see happen again. But Scottie Scheffler is undoubtedly playing the best golf since peak Tiger. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Very fair.
You look at the stats you're reeling off there, the amount of tournaments that he's won in that sample, that's probably the closest that we've seen since peak Tiger. He's not he's not in the same echelon as that yet for reasons that we're saying, longevity and
Got a long way to go.
He's got a long way
Yeah.
to go. And
A lot of golf left to play.
you look at the amount of time that Tiger was world number 1. Scottie's not close to that yet.
No, not at all.
And I think the aura sign that you're talking about, he's moving in the right direction, but he's not close to where Tiger is, and that people just completely forget how to hold a golf club as soon as Tiger Woods is on the leaderboard. Yeah, Scottie's
shaking in their shoes.
maybe quite getting there, but yeah, the one that stood out to me from that tweet is 13 wins since Morikawa.
Yeah.
You think he's like one of the sort of top 10 players in the world and has been for a long time, and Scottie's won 13 events since Colin Morikawa last one.
It's funny,
Yeah,
it
it's
felt like we
interesting,
talked
isn't
a lot a couple of years ago about Colin Morikawa being to be honest, we thought that we'd be talking about him here instead of Scottie Scheffler. Everything we've just said over the last 10, 15 minutes, you'd have felt like that is something we'd have said about Colin Morikawa. Feels like he's fallen off the face of the earth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just don't quite know where it's gone wrong, James. I mean, why is Colin Morikawa not the guy we're talking about?
Because his putter lives in Antarctica. That's why.
It's not great, is it?
It's not. But there are signs of glimmers of hope for Colin Morikawa though, because some days like he looks like he's on, but then if that putter goes cold, he just doesn't hold anything.
Yeah.
And it is noticeable as well. And it's the one thing that everyone talks about. It's not the fact that relatively decent driver of the golf ball, great iron player, gives himself chances, can't convert.
Yeah, the iron play is always something that's been a massive strength of his. I don't think that's maybe not quite as good as it was when he won the Open, but it's still incredibly good. But yeah, everything else about Morikawa's game just isn't quite clicking at the moment.
I remember how excited we got when he won the Open at St George's, that sort of semi-post-COVID Open that we had down there.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was his 5th PGA Tour win in exactly 2 years. Since then, he's won only once on the PGA Tour, and that's the Zozo in 2023. If you'd told me at that time that we'd get to the summer of 2025, go back 4 years, if you said he would win one more time in that period, I'd have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
It's just, there's too many weaknesses. And also, Scottie's come along and has kind of taken over. He's dominated, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. This is the thing, like sort of going back to Scottie again. I'm not saying this, I think this will happen with Scottie, but you just don't know. Golf's such a fickle game, and that one day you have it, and then the next day you kind of don't.
Yeah.
Like Scottie's clearly different levels, and I think he's going to continue to win tournaments. But all of a sudden, like something, a silly injury like he had, could sort of derail it, or he could have.
Yeah.
And yet it didn't. He
Lost
had a
it.
silly
It didn't.
injury and has come back.
Yeah.
You know, he's sliced his hand open. I mean, that's the tools of his trade.
Yeah.
And he's come straight back and more or less picked up exactly where he left off last year.
Yeah.
Even coming back healthy after a break, it's hard to pick up where you left off.
Mhm.
He came back with a chunk of his hand missing and is somehow going, all right, well, fine. So he's finding ways to win. The thing about Scheffler
Yeah.
for me is that he doesn't make mistakes. He might not be the most exciting golfer in the world to watch because
Yeah.
he doesn't hit towering 6 or 7 irons into 15 at Augusta like Rory did.
Mhm.
But steady golf wins golf tournaments.
Yeah.
Nick Faldo proved that throughout his career. 18 pars to close out an Open. I mean, boring golf is winning golf. And that's what Scottie Scheffler's demonstrating.
Yeah.
It makes it, yes, for a lot of us, myself included, makes it a bit of a hard sell, a bit of a tough watch. But you just have to tip your cap and go, my God, he's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is impressive watching him because he is from tee to green. I mean, he's the best on tour.
By
Like,
miles.
By the stats back that up.
Mm.
I mean, I think I was kind of looking at the only weakness he has, and it looks like it's out the bunker. And it's like 68 or
Quite
something
small
like that.
sample size.
I know,
You hit
but
many.
then everything else, he's
You're right. Around the green, not
Yeah.
the best, but it doesn't matter when you're hitting them all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So, yeah, it is really impressive on what he can do. Like, but yeah, from tee to green, he's magic. And if he misses the green, which he rarely does, like he might not get up and down, but majority of the time he still will.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, right? So if you
So
go to
interesting.
any player's profile page in the PGA Tour website and look at their stats, it basically creates a bit of a spider web based on 5 points: strokes gained, total, putting, around the green, approach the green, and off the tee. And as I say, it creates this little spider web and shows their weaknesses. The closer they are to the middle, the worse they are. The further out their stat goes, the better they are. Ideally, you want to basically create a little bit of a pentagon with this spider web. Scottie has created almost a perfect pentagon, and I've never seen it before.
It's almost a circle.
Yeah, I was about to
it's absolutely wild. I mean, James, you've rightly identified pretty much the only weakness in his game.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joke. Strokes gained total, first. Off the tee, first. Approach the green, first. Strokes gained putting, 27, still miles ahead of the field average.
That's what happens when you hit all the greens.
Total driving, 8th. Driving accuracy, 28th. Greens and regulation, 3rd. Proximity, 1st. Driving distance, he's 70th.
Doesn't
And
matter
still
when you hit
miles ahead.
fairways. Doesn't matter when you
Exactly.
hit fairways, though,
Yeah.
does it?
I've never...
Still 300,
Again,
over 300 yards as well.
I'm going to caveat this with Tiger. So take Tiger out of the equation. I have never seen stats like that.
Mhm.
Ever. And it's scary. It's scary to think where
It is
he's
quite
gonna
scary.
end up.
The weird thing is, you watch him over the weekend there, and he still hits some bad shots. Like, he hits some drives left. He's got a bit of the lefts going at
Yeah,
the
a
moment.
little
And
bit.
he's trying to like cut it, and he'll double cross it a little bit. And then you think, oh, he's gonna drop a shot here, and then he makes a par. Like, that final round, he started with 6 pars, then rolled a birdie, and you're like, when you're
Mhm.
leading a tournament and you do that, someone's got to come and catch you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, someone looks like they're going to do that. And he's like, oh, actually, I'm going to try and, I'll just make a birdie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it happens on Saturday afternoons. Like, I know I'm kind of being facetious here, but it's almost like everyone is running like a marathon, right? And Scheffler's just sort of in the middle of the pack. And then they get to, say, the 22nd mile, which is like Saturday afternoon, in this really weird analogy that I'm
Mhm.
creating.
I'm liking it.
And he's like, I've just kind of been jogging, everyone else like sweat pouring off their forehead and that. He's like, I should probably actually try and win this now, so I'm just going to make like 6 birdies and just run in front of you.
Yeah.
Motor ahead.
Yeah.
Motor ahead. And then someone like is like, oh, I'm going to try and catch him up,
Yeah.
Ben
yeah.
Griffin on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'll just run a little bit faster, shall I? Like, I'll just go and make
Yeah.
another birdie.
Always got that extra.
He's
Yeah.
always got that extra
Mm.
gear. Yeah, it feels like he's sort of running at 70%, and then everyone else is trying to play their absolute best to catch him.
It's a
When
good
someone
analogy.
gets near him, he just goes, actually, yeah, nah, I'm just messing. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
just go and play a little bit better. So.
It's a good analogy though, because if you think
Thanks.
when you're
I thought so.
no, it's great. It's like if you're watching like a 5,000 meter run and you just see like the top guy just sitting in the middle of the pack, and then it gets to like the last kind of 2 laps, and then all of a sudden it's just like gone.
Up to 4th on the PGA Tour career earnings is Mr. Scheffler. That is, again, decent going. Only Mickelson, McIlroy, and Woods ahead of him. He's going to break the record.
Well, he's catching Rory quickly. He's
Rory's reign as the highest earner in PGA Tour history, when he gets there, presumably within the next 12 months, I think will be quite short-lived.
So Scottie's made, 87 million,
Guts
something like that. So a couple more wins and he'll be past
there.
Rory. Yeah.
It's too much money.
It's a lot of money.
Like, that's ridiculous.
It's not the way to put it. It's just a lot.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
So, finish up on that then. If Scottie plays his best, I think we're agreed that right now everyone else is kind of playing for second, and we're including Rory and, Hovland, Morikawa.
Rory can get close. Rory just does it in a different way. Like you're saying, Rory will hit some terrible shots and then you'll hit some spectacular shots.
Yeah.
You saw that at the Masters. Like Scottie doesn't really hit wedges into burns from 80 yards. Like, that's not his game. Yeah, I think when he plays his best, no one can really catch him over 72 holes.
So are you going to revise up your 8 major suggestion?
No.
Oh, you're sticking
8,
to that?
Yeah.
Doubling down.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I like it.
So, yes, the question was, how many majors will Scottie Scheffler finish his career with? Lewis, you've gone 8. James, you've gone 12. And I am splitting the difference. I'm going 10. Either way, I think he's going to finish as one of the all-time greats at this current clip.
I think so.
Moving from Scottie to Happy Gilmore, the sequel, the much anticipated sequel, no less, to the 1995, 96 smash hit comedy starring Adam Sandler. We now know that's coming out next month, and excitement levels are rising. A new trailer for the movie dropped earlier this week. And James, you have watched it more than any other human on earth, I think. You're very excited.
It's so good.
So tell us about it then. What have you spotted? What do you think the likely storyline's going to be? What about the Easter eggs in the trailer? Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, so I mean, Happy Gilmore, let's be honest. One of the best golf movies of all time. So I think everyone, like myself, any sequel, sometimes you can be a little bit worried that it might be a bit naff, but I think this is going to be amazing. There's so many cameos through this, and you can see that in the trailer. It's
too many. So you end up just cameo stuff, and after a while it becomes a bit like, oh god, another one.
Well, this is the thing. I think even just by looking at the trailer and the way it's been shot, I think it's going to blend in really nicely. I don't think it's going to be overkill. I think, you've got a lot of guys like Travis Kelce's in it, just like.
But why?
No idea. But he's but he's in it making an appearance.
It's not even the right sport, for crying out loud.
I know, but there is a huge amount of stars in there. Like if I'm to go through the list right now, you've got your Nelly Corda's in there. Looks like she's sitting in the nursing home which Grandma was in, cheering at the TV. You've got Lavelle Crawford, who is a stand-up comedian playing Chubbs Peterson's son.
Oh God!
And it looks like he's the manager of like a happy place or like mini golf thing, but it's down to the exact like his father. He's got a prosthetic wooden hand as well. Geez. But there's loads of Easter eggs in there. You've got Reggie Bush, a lot of tour pros in there.
Who's Reggie Bush?
You know who Reggie Bush is.
Yeah, but listeners won't.
He's one of the.
Don't get too meta for crying out loud.
So he's one of the best running backs. From the NFL, is in the Hall of Fame.
American football.
That's the one,
right? Thanks.
Yep, NFL.
Is running back like a fullback?
Well, a fullback is like a running back.
Right.
So yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, pretty much. But then you've got obviously a lot of PGA Tour pros making
a rugby fullback.
Rugby fullback.
Oh, not a football fullback.
No.
A football fullback is not like an NFL
Time's
fullback.
gone. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time's gone.
So,
right. Moving on. But you've got John Daly, Paige Biernack, Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Bryson, Brooks, Justin Thomas, Will Zalatoris,
Xander, Morikawa.
Yeah, making little appearances as well.
This is my fear.
It's a lot. Eminem makes a
Pardon? What?
Yeah, Eminem makes a cameo appearance. Like you might not see.
What?
Yeah, let me get to it. You might not see it in the trailer because it's literally like a split second. You blink and you'll miss it. But he says one of the very famous lines from the heckler from the first movie. Yeah, guys.
Also, could he be the heckler's son?
Potentially. So there's loads going on, loads of Easter eggs as well. So in the trailer, you see him going into the attic, and You've got trophies, his old hockey stick, and then in the corner is like one of his big original checks from the first film, from the Bell Atlantic.
Oh, the oversized checks?
Yeah. So you've got like the Bell Atlantic Invitational check in the corner where he finished 18th place.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You got the original car in there as well with Grandma's picture hanging, which is a nice little touch to Frances Bay, who played his grandmother as well.
R.I.P.
And then he's also got his own wife's in it as well. But Happy Gilmore, the actual storyline, it looks like he's got an abundance of children as well. And it looks like his daughter is an aspiring dancer. And I think the storyline is he's now going to get back into golf and try and play again to be able to support her and pay for that journey.
Okay, he has to play golf to make money to support a member of the family.
Yeah.
Where did they get that idea?
Yeah, I know. What are the chances? But obviously,
listen, if it ain't broke.
I know exactly. But looks like there's a lot of fun things that obviously happen along the way. He's playing in one of the tournaments. He's got Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris in his group. And obviously, as we know, Zalatoris on tour was famously named Happy Gilmore's caddy. And
he looked like the original kid from the Waterbury Open.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a scene where Adam Sandler's on top of him, like celebrating like with his caddy like that, and then Justin Thomas is taking a selfie while doing it. So there's a lot of fun to be had. I think it's going to be cameos galore. I just hope it isn't too overkill. But I like what I see so far.
I worry that it's possibly a better trailer than it is a movie.
Yeah.
It could be a shit hot trailer, but a really shit movie. And that's the worry. And you think to yourself, like, all those cameos, is that because they kind of know that they need it because the story's a bit naff, because they don't have confidence in the jokes or whatever it might be? I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to cameo stuff a sequel because people have seen the original, they've liked the original, they know what it's all about. Yeah. So I'll sign up for that.
Yeah, you've still got...
I'm a bit worried by that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you've still got, Shooter McGavin making a return.
Yeah, so he's not been mentioned yet. What's the deal with him?
So it clips to the kind of end of the trailer where Shooter McGavin is in the cemetery with Happy Gilmore, and it's like, you ruined my life, and like basically blaming him. So
is Shooter dead?
No.
Are we sure?
Pretty sure.
Is he maybe just appearing as a ghost?
No, I don't think so. But they haven't really kind of shown any glimpses of what that showdown is going to be. Yeah. So I feel like that is going to be the big kind of hook at the end. Like they're going to be going head to head again.
But a big reconciliation, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But also Ben Stiller comes back as Hal as well. Yeah. But that looks like quite a funny scene because they look like they're in some sort of AA meeting. And Hal, he's like, "You're in my world now, grandson." And it just looks class. So like you've got a few of the original characters kind of coming back as well, which is a nice touch as well. So I'm excited. But as we know, like Adam Sandler likes using, his kind of entourage, his crew. Yeah. So there's going to be some brilliant scenes in there.
Let's hope so. I hope that there's enough of a movie and enough of a story, and it's not just a bit of a celebration of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
it needs to be a film.
I think it could be a bit both, is my kind of feel.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned the people who are returning for this one from the first one. Mm-hmm. I would imagine one of the ones that's not is that caddy that we spoke about from the Waterbury Open.
Yeah.
Remember the guy with the bleached blonde hair?
Yeah.
Interesting story about him, and you can read more about this on the Bunkered website. I spoke to the guy last year.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that played him was like an aspiring child actor, and then decided shortly after appearing in Happy Gilmore that this acting wasn't for him.
Yeah.
So he chucked it and retrained as a clinical psychologist. He now specializes in schizophrenia. He researches brain patterns and brain behavior to hopefully come up with some sort of cure or better understanding of that. His name's Jared von Snellenberg. Dr. Jared von Snellenberg.
What a name.
Unbelievable name, unbelievable story. I mean, people... I love those things you get online, like, where are they now?
Yeah.
That guy's story alone makes all of those ones that some of them are underwhelming, makes it all worthwhile. So please go into the Bunkered website, just Google Jared von Snellenberg now, and you'll get the story. It's mental. It really is. In a very literal sense, to be fair. So Happy Gilmore 2 will be out in July. I think it's fair to say we'll do something about that. Maybe even a watch along. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So you're excited, James. Very good.
I can't wait.
I can feel the excitement radiating off you.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's-
You're more excited
it's
about
glowing.
this than you are for the tournament that you're playing in this weekend.
than
which is
anything,
somewhat-
I would say.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat worrying.
Yeah, sorry.
Before
Not
we get
sorry.
to the break, another edition of Asked and Answered. So again, we posed this question on social media. If the answer is a donkey, as an ER, then what is the question? Again, gentlemen, whilst you're having a little think about that, some of the best responses we got from social media. Clarkey, what was the first hole-in-one prize on the European Tour? I mean, the European Tour started in 72, so it's entirely possible.
I think that's a legit guess.
It's-
He's
it's a
having
plausible
Yeah,
guess.
it's plausible, yeah.
Cameron Wright, if allowed to take part, who would currently be higher ranked than Michael McEwen in the positive measure?
Possibly.
That hurts, Cameron.
Not nice.
No need for that.
Especially after this week.
That's a yellow card, Cameron. We'll get to Podder in part 2. Jesus God. Taylor Railer, what obstacle did Seve put in front of the bunker to practice his short game? Again, I could see that happening.
Again, on that beach. Quite
100%.
possible.
Jamie Scott, who's the next big live signing? If it was a goat, maybe.
Oh yeah, range donkeys.
Range donkeys doesn't quite have the same.
Range.
Tom Hosey, who would have been a better US Ryder Cup captain than Zach Johnson?
Oh, that is very
That's not
good.
nice.
Oh, brilliant.
Very
But
good.
Yeah.
Two-footed.
Yeah,
No need for
Two-footed.
that.
Yeah.
And Pete Wells, if Scottie Scheffler is a thoroughbred, what is every other pro golfer?
I like that.
Nicely done.
Yeah,
Pete.
very
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. So, gents, your suggestions if you could.
Go on, James.
If I were Shrek, what would Lewis be?
God.
Yes.
You're getting into the movies chat here.
There you go.
There we go. Welcome to the game.
Welcome to the party,
Yeah,
James.
nice. Well done. That's good.
Lewis.
Man, yeah, it's rubbish compared to that. gonna make a joke about Friday night, Hampden centre half, Steve Clark's calling up. 'cause
Oh,
Scotland's
Scotland are
back
playing this
week.
weekend,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there's no point after.
Who would be
Shrek,
Who
donkey.
would be better at
Yeah,
centre
you
half
just
than
can
Grant
fill
Hanley?
in the blanks in that one. But yeah, Shrek and
He's done
donkeys
you there,
just,
hasn't he?
Shrek donkeys just done me. Yeah, I don't
there,
like that.
There you go. Sorry about that. Well,
Yeah.
Oh,
we
keyboard's going to get a bash
Ah,
later on.
yeah, I know, raging.
Oh.
No, you're both wrong, and I will give you the answer to the question the other side of this commercial break. Do not go anywhere.
Tee off with our exclusive Hot Eagle breaks at McDonald's Golf Hotels and Resorts, including Spey Valley Aviemore and Cardrona Resort in Peebles, both recent hosts of the Tartan Pro Tour, with stunning locations and a championship golf course featured at both 4-star hotels. One-night golf breaks from only £95 per person at Cardrona and £115 per person at Spey Valley. Be flexible on date and get the best rate, but be an early birdie. Limited spaces available. Search McDonald Hot Eagle breaks for more.
Welcome back. Part 2 of this week's Bunkered podcast in association with Callaway. Michael, James, and Lewis all with you. I've just smacked James's microphone stand.
Christ.
Sorry about
What
that,
did
James.
that do to you?
Before the break, we were playing Asked and Answered. If the answer is a donkey, what is the question? Some great suggestions on social media. One fantastic suggestion, frankly, from James. But everyone was wrong. The correct answer is, what was Luke Donald given as a gift ahead of last week's Austrian Open?
Oh, right.
Did you see this on social media?
No,
He
I
was
didn't-
actually
I didn't see it at all.
presented at the Austrian Open. Luke Donald wanders out of the clubhouse and there's a guy standing there with a donkey presenting it to him.
Are you getting that through customs?
So a lot of context missing. I have absolutely no idea why he was given it. I know he called
That's
it
bizarre.
Ryder because, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no context provided.
I would
So
have called it Lewis.
Right,
Luke,
the joke's
if
been-
you're listening, then please let us know what's the deal with the donkey and where is it now? Is the donkey okay? That's what I want
Yeah.
to know. Please let us know, Luke.
What's he going to do with it?
Grill
Does
it?
Luke Donald need a donkey for it?
I don't know, but
why specifically him? Is it just, well, sorry,
I
I'm
have
asking
no
you.
idea. I just told you I don't
I'm
have any other
I don't know.
info.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
say
me.
nothing else then.
It is,
Yeah,
it
forget
is a
it.
bit
Move
bizarre.
on.
It is a bit bizarre though, isn't it?
It's not normal. I mean,
No.
why not just give him like a watch or one of those wee tartan pouches with some teas.
Yeah.
Imagine you walk onto the tee and the starter's waiting for you. He's like, all right, guys, so basically your line is the lighthouse in the distance. Oh, and by the way, here's a donkey.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like caddying or something, I could see like
just
carrying
his bag the whole time.
like caddy ass.
Yeah.
Business idea. TM. You can't have it. There
Yeah.
you go.
Nice
so
one.
yeah, no idea why he was given it, but that is indeed the correct question to the answer. So if anyone can provide any insight, please let us know. Reminder, we are now on Facebook, facebook.com/The Bunkered Podcast. Go and give us a follow. That's the best place to get info about the latest episodes, to get competitions, giveaways, all that sort of stuff, and to see clips of the best bits. There's not many of those, to be completely honest. But yeah, go and give it a follow if you would. Gents, something I want to talk about because this caused we have a fight in the office over the last it's multiple times indeed over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
You guys I feel like I should sit in the middle of you because you're poles apart on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be quite surprising for some people to see who's in favour of what. But we've been talking a lot about par-3s because obviously the US Women's Open took place at the weekend. Brilliant win for Maya Stark with a stand-up comedian on her bag.
Jeff Brighton.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that would be a good thing to have a stand-up comedian on your bag.
She was saying it was great because say she's like
We
quite
keep it
tense,
light,
yeah, and very nervous trying to win her first major, and then Jeff's like telling his
Cracking
mental
jokes.
story. Well, not even that, like really
Knock,
long.
who's there? It's still you.
He's apparently telling like stupid, long, drawn out stories that would last like 3 or 4 holes.
Right, okay.
So she's like walking down the fairway and he's just chatting nonsense at her, and clearly it worked. So yeah,
Good on
fair
him.
play.
Fair
yeah,
play.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Probably more money to be made from caddying on tour than there is from stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, unless you're
good
Kevin
on.
Hart or something.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, great win for Maya
play.
Stark. But obviously US Women's Open and upcoming US Open, we'll be recording our preview for that this time next week. Should be good fun. But yeah, there's always talk around USGA events about the size and length of par-3s. They like a long par-3.
Mhm.
And there's been a bit of talk. Is there one at Oakmont next week that's close to, was it 300 yards?
Close, I think it's 290 in the car. So yeah, it could play 300 if they wanted it.
So that sparked a bit of a chat at the desks where we're saying, well, is that too long? How long should a par-3 be? And you guys come at this from a totally different place. And the surprising thing for me, James, is that for someone who hits the ball as far as you do, you're in the camp of capping par-3s at 200 yards. You don't think they should be longer than that?
No.
Why?
I just think a good par-3 doesn't need to be a million yards long. Like, I just think it's pointless. I don't want to watch Brian Harman lay up on a par-3. Like, that is just the most like depressing watch I could ever think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't want.
There's a skill in that though,
Mhm.
about being able to hit the ball that far.
I mean,
you know that better than anyone else.
yeah, 100%. Like, if you're going to try and hit the green at 290 yards, like, fair play to you. But a lot of guys will be taking driver. If that's into the wind, everyone's toast. I mean,
It's into the wind, they'll move the tee up.
yeah. Still, it's like moving it up to 260 yards into the wind is
still making it that.
it's still going to be like really difficult. But I just think, you look at some of the best par-3s, like Sawgrass, for example, 17.
Yes.
It's only 150, 160 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Island green. So many people dip into the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult hole. You don't need to put something like 300 yards away and watch guys stepping up with driver, missing the green, some falling short of the green.
Mm-hmm.
I know what Lewis is going to say, but I get that it's the same for everyone. But I just don't think it makes it a great hole to view, in my opinion. I just don't like it.
Okay.
I think 200, that's all you need. You can have a great par-3 and a par-3 that's incredibly difficult, even if it's like a tiny wee green from like 120 yards, for example.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't need to be that long. I just think it's stupid.
Lewis,
Yeah.
James makes some decent points there. I think it's fair to say, not least around the length of the iconic par-3s in
Yeah.
the game.
Hate that.
Obviously, you mentioned the 17th at Sawgrass, but top of my head, you've got 16 at Scottsdale, you've got 12 at Augusta, which is about 150 yards in the card. Postage stamp. I mean, it can play less than 100 yards in the Open if they choose it to.
People are walking up with 6s on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you talk about and you think about iconic par 3s, I'll be honest, I'm struggling to think of one that's over 220 yards. Yep. So why are you in favour of long par 3s?
The thing is, right, if this hole that's 290 at Oakmont, right, said 4 rather than 3 in the scorecard, you'd be thinking, oh, this is good. It's like risk reward. Guys Brian Harman, good example, might lay up, might then hit a wedge on. Whereas this is actually, because it's a par 3, doesn't change what the hole actually is.
It changes how you play it. You've got an extra shot in your locker. Then you've maybe got birdie opportunity. Whereas I don't know. It's a totally different mindset. I mean,
it shouldn't be though.
It's the same length, but par 3 to par 4 is a big difference. It genuinely, it is.
It's not though. It's just a number in the card. Right. So let's say we're playing this hole, right, and we're trying to beat each other. It's the first hole. I make a 3. James makes a 4. You make a 5. I've just gone round the corner. Sorry, not
right. That's not how to win the argument.
No. Right. Okay. Let's say I make a 6 and James makes a 2 and you make a 2 as well. It doesn't matter if the hole's a par 3 or a par 4. We're still coming off with the same score. So granted, like you can have a par 3 that's 290 and it might be rubbish. I don't really know much about this hole at Oakmont, but from what people have said, it's actually a really good test and well thought out hole, which is great. Just because it's a 3 doesn't mean, it might make it hard in your mind that, oh God, I'm really going to struggle to hit this green in regulation. But it's still going to separate the best players from each other. What I also think it does is that it gives someone like, let's say, Rory McIlroy, a chance where if that's playing 290 total, he might hit a club that goes 270 to the front of the green and has an easy 2-putt for a 3. That's a skill in itself to be able to do that. Someone like Brian Harman, again, just because James is using him as an example, might not be able to reach that green. That's skill, that's a skill that he's lacking. He might make a 4. It's actually separating players in a better way, I would argue, than either say a regular length par 4 or a par 3 that's 150 yards, where they're both going to be able to reach the green.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
What you're basically saying is disregard the par because you're playing the hole.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, the mindset is different. It's a par 4 at 290 yards, we talk about risk reward. A par 3 at 290 yards, no one has ever spoken about risk reward. So the mindset immediately is different. I can take this on knowing I've got an extra shot by par in my locker, or I can play it a different way. With these par 3s, a 290 yard par 3, I'm not seeing any variety in the way players are playing it. I'm also not seeing any variety in the clubs that they're using. For me, a great par 3, and maybe I'm slightly nailing my own colours to the mast now as well, but a great par 3 for me, to be able to use pretty much any club and hit that green feasibly. Whereas with a 290 yard par 3, well, you're not getting there with a 9.
Yeah. Well, look,
it takes creativity and shot making out of the equation. It's basically hit this one shot. It's one dimensional, is it not?
Yeah, it might be one dimensional, but if you can't hit the shot, then you're going to get punished for it. It's going to
agree wholly with that.
Yeah.
But one dimensional golf is not entertaining for the viewer.
I'm not saying this should be every single par 3 ever. Like, I'm not saying 12 at Augusta is a bad hole. I really like the postage stamp. I think it's great. But long par 3s can be good as well. Like Kings Barnes, 15th off the back.
Yeah, good example.
Plays around 215 yards, right?
Yeah.
So guys are standing up there. If I was to go and play it, I'm probably hitting a hybrid. I still think it's a brilliant hole because if I hit a good shot, I'm rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I hit a bad shot, I could be making a 6.
But then if you're standing on a 290 yard par 3, you're going to be wondering why is this a par 3?
That's genuinely not going to change the way that I play it.
So do you think that hole at Dumbarton, which you drove, which was really short, do you think that should have been a par 3 instead of a par 4?
Good question.
No, it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter. That's the whole point of what we're talking about.
No. It doesn't matter what the par is, though. It's still the same hole.
I get it's still the same hole, but you would have played it differently because you're trying to drive the green rather than you might.
I wouldn't have played it different. I would have played it exactly the same.
But if
I would have hit the same shot.
But if it was different conditions, you would have thought about it differently.
Yeah, if it was blowing like 40 mile an hour.
You might have played 4-iron and gone left rather than try and go.
If it was a par 3, you would have done that as well. But that's the point, right? See that hole.
Well, you wouldn't. You would have taken driver and tried to get it on the green.
Yeah,
because there's a different way of how you'd approach.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? So
than a par 3.
I don't hit the
par
ball.
3, you try and go for the green. Rather
Let me speak.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear the answer to that.
I think that's quite a good point that you're saying there. Is that if that was a par 3, right, and I've driven it on the green, I've made a 3, right?
Mhm.
Great, I made a par. Whereas if that's then blowing a gale into my face,
Mhm.
I'm not going to reach that. That's showing up deficiency in my skill set. I don't hit the ball far enough to be able to tackle this golf course. If you're playing the US Open in a couple of weeks' time
Mhm.
and you can't hit the ball, you can't carry the ball, say 270 yards to reach the front edge of the screen,
Mhm.
then you should be punished for it, in my opinion. And someone like Rory McIlroy or Scottie Scheffler or Ludwig is going to be able to fly, say, a 5-wood or 7-wood onto the green.
Mhm.
They make a 3, they might gain a shot. So that's brilliant. That's another part where I think that in like sort of small quantities, these are really good. Go and watch Rory McIlroy, right, at final round at the Masters. How many approach shots did he hit with something more than a 4-iron?
More than a 4?
Yeah, so longer than a 4-iron.
Oh, nothing. I think the longest he hit was 6.
There you go. So he's hit.
Maybe 4. Oh,
So
sorry,
maybe
let's
into
carry on. I'm
par
trying to
3s.
think. I'm sure I saw on a par 3.
Well, any
I'm sure I
approach
saw
shot.
him hit 4-iron somewhere, but I may be wrong. But sorry,
Right.
carry on.
So he's not hit any clubs longer than a 4-iron. That's a part of the game that pros don't really get tested much, is actually hitting approach shots into greens with long clubs. Like Rory on 15 actually had an 8-iron in his hand and then went and put it back and took a 7-iron out. Incredible shot, brilliant. But how often do we see someone thinking, oh God, like I'm needing to hit a 7-wood here, which a lot of players carry, or a 3-wood into a green? It's a skill we don't see tested, like hardly ever.
I get.
Don't disagree with that.
No, I get what you're saying, but I still think that the difficulty of a par 3 doesn't need to be that length. It could be 100 yards and still just as difficult and challenge the professional.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Like Troon, again, classic example. Like guys from a short distance and at that level can't hit that green and they end up in the bunker. And in theory, they're meant to be the best players in the world.
I just like the fact that with that hole in particular, you can, if I'm sitting in the gallery behind that tee, I know that the next guy has got so many options for how to play that hole.
Mhm.
I could see any number of shots happen next. I could see it high, low. I could see it with I could see somebody hitting a tiny little quarter swing 4-iron just to trap it and run it.
Mhm.
You could see someone hit it really hard and high and try and drop it and stop it. There's so many different ways, left, right, low, high, that you can play that hole, and so many different numbers that you can rack up from 1 into double figures.
Yeah.
But with long par 3s, as a spectator, and maybe this is where my bias is coming from, as a spectator, I know I'm going to see probably one of 3 clubs at most, and I'm going to see the shot hit exactly the same way, maybe with a little bit of compensation depending on that player's preferred ball flight, whether they like to draw it or fade it. But again, that'll be dictated by the conditions.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm going to sit there, I'm going to see the same shit over and over and over again. And that's just not entertaining to me at all. I appreciate the skill.
Mhm.
I appreciate the ability to hit that very specific shot, but it does nothing for me if that's all I'm seeing. Also, I would say this, the majority of tour pros are brilliant with their woods because of, 1, how good these players are, but 2, the sheer advances in the technology that we've seen.
Yeah.
So it's almost impossible to be poor with your woods if you're a tour pro these days.
Yeah.
You can be varying degrees of good,
Yeah.
but actually bad, that's very, very rare. But look at the current PGA Tour average for approach shots. From 125 to 150 yards, 68.3. From 150 to 175 yards, tour average is 61.4. They're not hitting these distances. They're not hitting greens from these distances all the time.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's bloody hard. And with irons in your hand, whether that's a 9 or a 4 or a 3 or whatever, you still need to make the shot. You still need to have shot making about you, shot shaping and all that kind of stuff. So I would always much sooner watch that than watch a guy bomb another driver.
Yeah. I've no issue with the postage stamp being a great hole. I'm not saying that every par 3 should be over 200 yards, but I don't think it's a bad thing to have every so often. I mean, God, there's how many par 3s are on this? You know, there's 4 par 3s in most courses, right?
Yeah.
Why not have one of them that's long? Like, what's the issue? And plus, like the spectator side of it, if I go and sit, like I've sat behind the postage stamp, brilliant, right? If I go and sit behind the 8th at Oakmont, I'm going to see Rory McIlroy might be trying to hit a low 2-iron into the green, try and chase it up. Might see Scottie Scheffler hitting his new 7-wood, trying to fly it all the way there. I think that's great. That's entertaining. I might watch someone pull a driver out of the bag and think, God, you don't see that often in par 3, which again is irrelevant, like what par it actually is, because it's still the same hole. If it was a 290 par 4, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't though, but
because it's different. It just is. It is. Plain and simply, it is. It's mindset. Risk reward is a different mindset.
Yeah, you'd either go for it, lay off.
Because there's different ways to play the hole.
Different ways.
You're trying to do the same thing, which is get
there's different ways to play a par 3.
Yeah, but by and large, the best way to play it is to try and hit the green with your first shot.
That's the best way to play a par 4 as well.
If you can, but not necessarily. I mean,
you can't always hit the green in a par. I've laid up in par 3s before.
You should play on the 40s.
I think context of where that hole fits in the round as well is also important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if that long par 3 is coming, I don't know, horses for courses, I guess, but if that comes quite early, it's like, well, what's the point? If it comes late on in the round and that skill set that you're describing, Lewis, is being tested at the business end, then it's like, okay, fair enough. There might be something in it, but...
Yeah, you look at Port Rush. We're going to watch that this
Calamity Corner,
summer.
16.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
That bought off the back tees is over 220. You saying get rid of that?
It's not my favourite hole in the course.
Right.
I'll say that much.
Carnoustie as well. Long par 3.
Again, I think it's more famous than a good hole.
Right.
People are familiar with that hole because, was it not Tom Watson that tried to play it all 4 days, missed the green?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people know the 16th at Carnoustie because it's long.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows it because it's great.
Right.
And that's the distinction.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to agree.
We're not going to agree.
We're allowed to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts more to the point.
I'm
Where do
hoping
you
people will
stand?
back me up here.
I know. I feel like we kind of ganged up on you a little bit. There,
You have. Yeah.
I do get Lewis's, like, I do get your points. I just think there's just no need for a par 3 that length. I just think a challenge of a par...
You'd think, though, of all people, you'd be the one in favour of it. Because it plays to your skill set. The longer a hole...
Yeah.
I mean, when we're reducing the amount of clubs that somebody can hit, it might be only 3 clubs that some people, the average guy, can hit the longer the par 3 gets. For you, it goes from 14 to about 7. So you still have options. I'm surprised that you, of all people, are the one that's against it.
I just think when I step on a par 3 and I've got like a 9-iron or an 8-iron in my hand for like anything from 160 yards to 200 yards, I think
Flex.
I find those par 3s, you have to manipulate shape, play different shots. If I was to step on that, I'd just like, okay, I'll just hit a 2-iron on the green. I think
good,
but
well done. That's great. That's my point.
But that's
because
just,
you're a good player. You can hit a 2-iron on the green. Amazing. But some people can't. It's a good test.
It's a straightforward. Like, I just think, like what you're saying, Michael, that's just going to be a repetitive, boring sequence of same shots over and over and over again. And I think for viewing, it's not going to be great.
It's a great test of skill. It's maybe not great for entertainment. And I think that's maybe where we're at. But entertainment is, it's a subjective matter. Yeah. So we'll let us know your thoughts. Get in touch with us. Slide into our DMs. You give Lewis send him a friend request or
Help
something
me out.
if you're particularly keen on his argument.
Send me a friend request.
Send him a donkey.
You have to send him some creatine so he can bulk up and hit these holes.
Yeah.
So look, get in touch with us. Slide into the DMs. We're on X at The Bunkered Pod and on Facebook, The Bunkered Podcast. And obviously, all of our DMs are open as well. Let us know your thoughts. Par 3s, should they be capped at a certain length? Let's say 200 yards. Is there ever a place for a long par 3? Let us know. Right, everyone friends again?
Yeah, go on.
You okay?
Yeah, go
fine.
on.
Yep.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need to hug it out?
I don't want to get back into this.
I can see his fingers twitching. Just
might even just close my laptop here.
Let's go to positive merit, which is better for both of you, frankly, than it is for me.
Why? What happened?
Oh, shut up. Last week, the Memorial Tournament at Muirfield Village in Ohio, Jack's place. Jack had plenty to say last week, didn't he? My word. By the way, I have no issue with Rory not getting in touch with Jack to let him know. Like, maybe it would have been the nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been the quote-unquote right thing to do, but It's not a big a deal.
No, people. If it was anyone but Rory, no one would have mentioned it at all.
No.
But
Yeah, this is true.
What I should also add, by the way, we had a big old rant last week about sponsor exemptions, and
They did quite well then.
they did all right. Yeah, I think 3 of the 4 finished inside the top 10, vindicating their invite. Good on them. Listen, that's great. It doesn't change the bare facts that I don't believe that those guys should have been given that opportunity in the first place. Ricky Fowler, has he not now booked a place in either of the... In fact, it's the Open.
He's
He
in the
punched his
Open,
ticket
yeah.
for the Open,
Yep.
based on the fact he played well off the back of a sponsor's invite. So, good for him.
Well
but,
done.
yeah,
Could
it
have been
just
someone
doesn't...
else that
It could have
deserved
been
it.
somebody else
Yeah.
who is going to have a bigger, longer career in the game. And now we'll never know. They'll be lost to the game forever.
Or they would have
Because-
missed the cut.
If I'd picked them for pod, I absolutely would have. So, yeah, the memorial last week. Anyway, James, you picked Scottie Scheffler.
What a shout that was.
Wow,
wasn't
where'd you pluck that from?
it? Oh, I
This
don't
young up and coming star.
know.
What made you go for the world number 1?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Tough one, wasn't it?
congratulations. 3 points in the bag for you. And more, I think, much more significantly than the points, you get to choose Scottie Scheffler again.
I know.
Lewis, you went for Sepp Straka,
Great
who
shout.
finished 3rd.
Thanks.
Brilliant shout. He's
Thank
in
you.
the Ryder Cup team for this year.
Oh yeah,
no
definitely.
question.
Yeah.
That got you a point, and I went for Jordan Spieth, who finished in the tie for 7th.
Well done.
All 3 of us
Well
top
done.
10.
Says Jordan fucking Spieth.
I'm just a bit frustrated when I was typing the notes. Tied 7th, all of us in the top 10. After
Good.
recent weeks, that's a big, big return to form.
That's
but-
a big return to form for you.
I got
Your
nothing.
selections.
Tied 7th, and to get no points from that, I feel a bit like Jimmy White in the 90s playing in the World Snooker
Yeah.
Championship.
I feel like that's quite.
Playing great stuff, producing some of your best and getting nothing for it.
Was he the guy with the glasses? Is
No, he was the guy with
that's
the perm black hair, English
Sorry,
guy
who
that
was it
lost to
with
like
the-
Stephen Henry.
who was it with the upside down glasses?
Dennis
Dennis
Taylor.
Taylor.
Well done. Yeah, sorry.
He was 80s.
Right.
Jimmy
Yeah.
White just he made it. It was funny at that time. You had 2 dominant players, Jimmy White and Stephen Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Henry was just a level above, and they basically come up against each other because of the seeding every year in the final for like
Right.
4 or 5 finals in a
Yeah.
row, and Henry won them all.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
You feel like him.
Producing great stuff,
Mhm.
getting nothing
Nothing.
for
Well,
it.
it's your game, so
Good point. So, listen, a little bit of movement at the top of the leaderboard. James, your 3 points moves you on to 10. Lewis, that point keeps you with your nose just in
sure.
front. You're on 11, and I am, who gives a shit? I'm on 2. 11, 10, 2.
You're going down to the championship out of this, right?
This is the worst performance from any human being at anything ever.
wow. That's
Like,
quite a statement.
That's a
So bad.
That's a low bar. That
That's-
isn't
yeah.
it?
I'm like
really
one of
low
these
bar.
people that walks up to a big sporting event and sings the American national anthem badly. That's my level of performance just
That's
now.
tough.
So not great. Anyway, this week, the RBC Canadian Open. Robert McIntyre, defending champ, one of 2 title defenses for Bob in the next 2 months.
Mm.
The order, Lewis, James, and then, yeah, obviously me last. So, Lewis, tell us, who are you picking?
I
for
think
the
it'll be
Canadian
James first, won't it? I don't want to steal his
Open? Oh,
honor
God,
here.
you're right. Sorry,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Scotty got the points. James,
I was
Lewis,
going to
then
be
me.
really mean. 'cause
Sorry,
I
sorry,
can see
that's...
his screen on his laptop.
know, I
He's
was like,
picking
yeah.
bad.
Oh, I'm
pickings,
sorry,
so
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. No.
James, over to you.
I'm going to select Ben Griffin, the man on form.
Oh, what a shout.
Obviously, second at Memorial, won the week before. He's having a great season so far, and what more can I say?
Wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
What's the
there you
deal with the sunglasses? I kind of missed all
Yeah,
that.
so he basically has issues with his eyes. Like he gets what he calls floaters. So when he looks up at the sky, he gets like black spots in his vision. So
Really?
yeah.
Sounds
I
like he
think-
just needs to drink some water.
Right.
what
I'm sure
happens.
he's tried that.
That's what happens when I'm seriously dehydrated.
Yeah, I don't think it's a dehydration thing. I
Okay.
think it's more retinas trying to detach
Yeah,
themselves.
sounds
What he
like
said.
it. That
Yeah,
sounds a
it
bit
sounds
worrying.
quite bad. But
Couple.
yeah, the sunglasses are cool and they're helping him play good golf. So fair play to him.
Yeah, keep him on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Keep
fine,
going.
James. You haven't picked Ben Griffin. Thanks to Steve the Ref for giving us an update on where we're at.
Mm.
No, you're fine with him. So, Lewis, who are you going with?
Nice.
I'm going quite lazy with my pick here. I'm going Nick Taylor. So Canadian connection, pretty clear to see. Guy who was
Which
weird.
Canadian are you picking to win the Canadian Open?
Yeah, pretty much. I was almost going to pick Bob, but I think the first time defending a PGA Tour title probably comes with quite a lot. So
Yeah, probably.
I think he'll do well. But yeah, Nick Taylor was a good finish last week. Felt like whenever I watched him, he was kind of hitting bad shots, but still ended up in a good finish, which I think is quite a good sign.
He scrambled quite well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's won the Canadian Open before, so going with him, playing good.
Is he? He's not the one that got rugby tackled by the security guard.
So he won. His mate Adam Hadwin got rugby tackled when he tried to celebrate with champagne.
That's right.
We were watching. There's like a montage that Sky Sports had to promote the tournament of that on. I was watching it with my mum, and she was like, "Who's that getting rugby tackled?" I was like, "Yeah, he's actually also a tour player." So hopefully similar scenes this time around.
So I'm going for a left field pick.
Ooh.
Might as well just start throwing some haymakers here because really, what difference is it going to make?
Rand Snedeker.
So I'm going with a guy that needs a good week with a big summer coming up. He is on the slide in a big way, considering where he was just maybe 18 months ago. Finished tied 51st at the Memorial, but what's a bit more pertinent for me is what he did yesterday at US Open qualifying, carrying his own bag and came up just short. I think he's vibing a little bit. I think he needs something to spark, and this could just be the week for Mr. Max Homa.
Right?
No reason to pick him,
no,
quite honestly, because his form has been nothing short of atrocious. He's currently world number 90. Now, it's actually quite hard. It's hard to be that low, considering how bad the rankings are these days.
He's playing every week in the PGA Tour, basically.
Every week. And honestly, his results don't make for pretty reading. I mean, geez, if I go backwards, right? Memorial tied 51st, PGA 60th, Truist tied 30th, RBC Heritage 70th, Masters signs of life there, tied 12th. But before that, miscut.
Oof.
I'm wondering why I'm doing this.
I'm wondering.
You're just going to add another MC.
But you all laughed last week when I picked Jordan Spieth, and he produced a great week. Not enough to get me points, but a good week. So I don't see you guys with the players you've picked having the kind of weeks that you had last week. So I'm going to win points with the most left field and random of picks. As I say, I may as well just start tossing grenades and seeing what happens. So Max,
look, he's due a good week.
I'm due a good week for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's also true. Yes,
very true.
Max, you owe me one. So that's the RBC Canadian Open. We'll finish up as is customary now with Bear Lies. Mr. Tate,
yes,
your turn. What have you got for us?
I once almost killed Paula Creamer.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
where
what
do
a
we start with
statement
this?
that is.
Yeah.
That's like first-person content you would see on like the Sun's website. I almost killed Paula Creamer.
The Sunday Sport newspaper.
Golf journalist reveals all.
Yeah.
So, okay then. How, why, where?
Where? It was at Isleworth in Florida.
Right, okay. Makes sense. She practices out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
So I was on like a junior golf kind of exchange. St. Andrews, there was like a select few of us that got to do an exchange with the Isleworth juniors. So we went across there. We played Isleworth, went up to TPC, played Sawgrass. And we had like a little kind of like match against them. And then they did the return leg and came to St. Andrews as well. But we were practicing there.
I was born in the wrong place.
That's when
What did you get for being born in Inverness, Lewis? What's the best thing that happened up there?
Cali Christmas jersey.
No, that's not the best thing.
Did you go to the Dingwall County show?
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not.
We had an exchange with a club in Sweden, actually. I think it was I think Lynn Grant used to play there.
No way.
Yeah, Raya Golf Club. It was like a connection. It was going way off. I'm giving James time to think about his explanation for this.
He's had all week, it's fine.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I think her dad was a professional golfer, had a stint in Inverness. There was some sort of crossover, so went over there. Not quite Sawgrass, but it was good.
That's pretty fun though.
Yeah. And that was the first time I ever had vodka. It was in Sweden. I was like a 16-year-old. Thought that's so easy. Wasn't nice.
After one shot.
It's straps that they go in for in a big way in Sweden.
Oh,
Snaps. I've been on Galvin Green trips and they just pour it down your throat, basically.
Rocket fuel.
Galvin Green trips are like famous for that, aren't they?
Yeah, somewhere. Moving on.
Yeah.
Back to you, James.
Yeah, sorry.
Back to me. Ask me questions then. Go on.
So you were at Isleworth
Yeah.
playing some boring junior exchange thing because, you were born with a silver spoon up your arse.
Whoa.
So
Definitely not.
how did you
It was
happen
golden.
to...
Joking.
What happened? How did you nearly
how
kill
did
her?
you see Paula Creamer and then how did you nearly kill her?
So we were all kind of like at the range just hitting balls, practicing. And Paula Creamer was at the other end because it's double-sided.
Right, okay.
So I think from what I gathered, all the kind of the playing pros, like there was one point when we were there, Tiger was actually on the other side. But we weren't. Yeah. Well, he lived right there. That's before the 9-iron went through his back
Even
window of his
producer
car.
Dex is shaking his head, and he never does that.
But yeah, so
how many more names are you going to drop? This particular lie. Keep going. It's
Come on, tell the story.
So
yeah,
basically,
but
she was at the bottom end of the range.
She was
and
at
you
the
hit balls towards her. Yeah.
Yeah, so the range I think was only about maybe 300 yards. And
It's a good par 3 according to Lewis.
Yeah, so yeah, I was just like working on my short game, and I was hitting my driver, and I didn't think I was getting that close, and she was kind of on the left, and I'm obviously aiming here, and I tugged one, and it just was like beelining for her, and it must have landed at her feet or whistled past her head because she stopped and she was just like hands up like this, kind of going a bit mental,
Giving it the
pretty much. And I was like,
oh,
and then I was like, oh, and
what's
then,
that?
what's going on?
You did.
Hey.
Paula's
And then
like that.
she wasn't very happy because I did it more than once
Oh, what?
by accident. Obviously, I'm not deliberately just trying to like drop a hellfire on her. I just pulled another one. And
You were treating her like that little cart that goes round the driving range that everyone aims for.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the second one was closer, and I think almost killed her on the fly.
Did it hurt her?
No.
Oh, so it didn't
No.
almost kill her then at all.
Well, luckily she moved out the
Didn't
way.
even injure her. Didn't touch her.
Yeah, well, it was
unscathed.
It was pretty fucking close.
So
I'll
did
tell you
she complain? Did you speak to her afterwards when the range session was done?
No, she was kind of like waving just to like tell me to aim over there, and I was like fucking trying to kind of thing. But no, that was I almost killed Paula Creamer.
Lewis, what you think?
I'm skeptical that Isleworth would let this happen. I can believe they'd have like players on either side of the range, but and also she would know not to be there. She's wise enough to think, well, if people are hitting golf balls towards me 300 yards away, why am I going to stand here? Plausible. That sort of sticks as being a bit of
You've seen how far I can hit a left, Lewis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't doubt you can hit the ball 300 yards. I don't doubt you can hit it a long way left as well. Yeah. I mean, like you say, Michael, she would be there practicing. It's a bit of a rogue name to pick for a lie, isn't it? The Tiger Woods shout was a bit wild. That feels like embellishing the story.
Totally
a little
unnecessary.
bit. Yeah, unnecessary.
I think it's probably true that he almost hit her. I think it's a total lie that he almost killed her because you didn't hit her and therefore you didn't almost kill her.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't spend a single night or indeed minute in ICU.
No.
So, I mean, if you really want to get into the specifics.
Well, yeah, it's called bare lies.
Yeah,
and
that's the point.
You said that you almost killed her.
Well, yeah. If that golf ball had hit her, she would have been dead.
By definition, like, I've driven in the opposite direction to courtesy cars coming out the open. So by definition, I've almost killed Phil Mickelson. Is that what you're saying? Insofar as if I had steered my car into it, then we would have collided. That's not the same.
Well,
you've totally exaggerated this.
Okay.
If
that's why it's true.
Could be. Yeah, well.
I almost killed her.
Yeah. How close do you reckon the ball was? Like, give us numbers.
It must have been like no more than that.
Like a couple inches.
Yeah, literally. She moved because I hit it and I could see it and it was tracking the whole way. And she'd gone to tee up another ball, and as she'd done that, she'd moved back to her bag, and that was literally on her bag. So it was really close. Landed on that little chipping green next to that tee box.
All right. he's adding a lot of
Yeah.
details here for something that
You
happened.
can ask me
so
more
long
questions.
ago.
Listen,
I
I am absolutely certain this is true. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that he almost hit her.
Certain. Yeah, not that she was in like life threatening.
No emergency services called.
No.
Not even a plaster ripped
No.
from the box to cover a little cut that he didn't almost kill her. I'm sorry. That's
I'm really upset, Michael.
details matter.
They
Okay.
do.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they do.
And
yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're
right now there's someone listening to this going, no, it's just clickbait. Even though there's nothing to click, that doesn't stop them.
And like your ball.
That's the real being the ball.
I know. No, your ball speed with a tickle there. Mine with a kill there.
Well, it's not the point, is it?
No, well, same.
I'm going to say true.
I think this is a lie. I think this is a elaborate thing, even similar to like this could be the one a few weeks back we were talking about number of hole-in-ones, and it'll be some other like LPGA
Yeah.
player. It might be like Lexi Thompson.
It
Or
was
someone.
Lexi Thompson at Lake Nona.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Okay.
down the road. So I'm going with a lie.
It's true.
Told you.
It's true.
It's true that he almost hit her with a golf ball.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
What's not true, Lewis, is
that he almost killed her.
thank you.
So I'm correct.
well, no.
If you'd hit her,
Yeah.
full toss with a golf ball, and she goes smack right down in the ground. Emergency services come in, CPR is administered.
Yeah.
They get the old paddles out, the clear,
Yeah.
and she survived. Then fine, you almost killed her.
I don't think I would have been able to tell that story if
No.
that were the case.
The worst bit is that you did this once and it was close, and she's
Yeah.
like waving her arms. You're like, oh, Paula Creamer, she's quite famous, good at golf. You're like, oh, I'll just do it again. Then like it was
Twice.
closer.
So
Yeah,
it-
twice.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's a shock.
That's terrible.
I mean, the first one was
Stop it and drive it.
the first one was an accident, and then the second one was
Careful
Whoa,
now.
whoa.
This
Second one I meant to do.
Yeah, the second one I was aiming there. No, the second one I just snap hooked the living crap out of, and that was the one which was moving, which would have been
Right.
So this is your
Brutal.
chance.
so.
Apologise, Paula Creamer.
Paula Creamer, I am very, very sorry for almost hitting you all the way back in 2008 at Isleworth Country Club at the back end of the range. I apologize.
Well done.
Well done.
You know what? It
Um,
takes a man to admit his mistakes.
that
and you
was-
just have.
Yeah, that was an incredible experience, though.
What, almost hitting Paula Creamer with a golf ball?
No,
That's an
no,
incredible
no. Just
experience.
the.
We're looking for different things from the game, James.
No, I'm gonna save the next story from that trip from Barrel Eyes.
Ooh.
All right. Okay.
Cliffhanger.
The plot thickens.
Great scenes. Gentlemen, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you
Beautiful.
very much indeed
Thank
for,
you.
for
Thank
your
you.
time, for your opinions. Listen, just don't fall out. Okay? That's all I'm
don't.
going to say. Just
Fine. I'm
That's
over
right.
it.
Shrek and Donkey will make.
oh dear. Lewis may or may not be back next week. James, good luck with your tournament later
Thank
this
you.
week. Hope it all
Appreciate
goes
that.
well. Bring us
Very
back
good.
some more silverware
Cheers.
because we quite enjoyed that last time. Producer Dex, thanks as always for your awesome work. Thank you to you for listening. Callaway for your continued support. Remember, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We will be back again this time next week for our huge, epic US Open preview. Until then, ladies and gents, boys and girls, it's bye-bye for now.